Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning in the year 1300 with one of those headaches that makes you see stars. These days, you take ibuprofen, drink some water, and complain on Twitter. But in the Middle Ages, if you said out loud that your head hurt, you had a much bigger problem than the migraine. The doctor was on his way, and trust me, you did not want to see that man. The medieval doctor was a mix of a confused philosopher, a hurried butcher, and a religious fanatic who thought your headache was because you looked at a toad the wrong way or because you sinned last Sunday. Welcome to an age where science was basically optional and superstition was the law. A time when hospitals were not places to get better, but waiting rooms for the graveyard where monks would give you the last rites before they gave you medicine. In this video, we're going to see why medieval medicine was the ultimate extreme sport. We're going to talk about disgusting bodily fluids, surgeons who also cut your hair, and why the favorite remedy for everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything, was draining your blood until you turned white as a sheet. In the Middle Ages, walking into a medical appointment was basically signing your will and hoping the doctor wasn't in too much of a hurry. To understand why they did the things they did to you, first you have to understand their logic. Medieval doctors inherited an idea from the Greeks called the theory of the four humors. According to them, the human body was full of four liquids, or humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. To stay healthy, these four horsemen of the biological apocalypse had to be kept in perfect balance. If you had a fever, it meant you had too much blood, because blood was hot. If you had depression, it meant you had too much black bile, because black bile was cold and dry. Health was a math equation where you always lost. Health equals blood plus phlegm plus yellow bile plus black bile. If the equation got thrown off, the doctor didn't go looking for bacteria or viruses, among other things, because they had no idea those even existed. So instead, they looked for a way to empty you out. And how did the doctor know which humor you had too much of? Well, their go-to diagnostic method was urine analysis, but they didn't send it to a lab. The doctor looked at the color, smelled it, and in the more professional cases, tasted it. Yes, you heard that right. Your trusted doctor would take a little sip of your pee to see whether it tasted sweet, sour, or bitter. If it tasted sweet, you might have diabetes, or the disease of honey urine. But more likely, he'd prescribe a diet based on saying 3 Hail Marys and eating rabbit meat boiled in vinegar. Everything in medieval medicine was based on this obsession with bodily fluids. They were convinced that the body was like an old radiator that needed to be purged constantly. And that brings us to the favorite tool of any self-respecting quack: bloodletting. If the urine diagnosis sounded disgusting, get ready to see how they tried to fix your engine. If the doctor tasted your pee and decided you were too hot or had too much blood, he did not tell you to get some rest. He prescribed bloodletting. It was the universal cure. Does your foot hurt? Bloodletting. Are you depressed? Bloodletting. Did an ox cart just run you over? Bloodletting it is. But they didn't just open a vein whenever they felt like it. First, they had to consult the GPS of the 14th century, the Zodiac Man. Doctors believed the stars controlled different parts of your body through a mystical and fairly ridiculous connection. If the moon was in Aries, don't even think about touching your head, because you might die on the spot. You had to wait until the cosmos gave permission for you to be bled safely. To remove the excess humor, they used a tool called a lancet. They'd slash your arm or your temple and let the red liquid flow into a bowl until the doctor said, "That's enough," or until you passed out, whichever came first. And if the doctor was one of the modern ones and a little less aggressive, he used everyone's favorites, leeches. They'd stick a few of those hungry little creatures on the affected area and let them do the dirty work. The problem was that the patient was often already weak from the illness. And what did the doctor do? Take more blood out of him, the very thing keeping him alive. It's like trying to fix a car that won't start by removing the battery. Medieval logic. If the patient dies, the demon was just too strong. If he lives, the doctor is a genius. Perfect business model. And here comes the craziest twist of all. In the Middle Ages, the real doctors, the ones who studied at universities and spoke Latin, did not touch blood. That was dirty work. for lower-class people. If you needed a leg cut off or a tooth pulled, you didn't go to the hospital, you went to the barber shop. You know that red and white striped pole outside old-fashioned barber shops? It's not there for decoration. It represents the red bloodied bandages and the white clean ones that barbers used to hang outside to dry in the sun. Barbers were the town surgeons. One minute they were shaving your beard, the next they were performing a trepanation to remove the stone of madness from your brain. Let's talk about anesthesia, or rather, the lack of it. If you had to go under the barber's knife, your options were a jug of cheap wine to leave you half numb, a chunk of wood to bite on so you wouldn't crack your teeth screaming, a hard blow to the head to knock you out cold, with a decent chance of never waking up. Surgery was a race against the clock. The barber had to be fast because the patient usually went into shock from the pain. If you lost a leg in under a minute, you were one of the lucky ones. Hygiene, by the way, was basically science fiction. The barber used the same saw on the guy before you, the one with gangrene, and then on you. The concept of bacteria would not arrive for another 500 years or so. So there you were, tied to a chair, biting a stick, while some guy who had just shaved a priest got ready to saw through your bone with a tool that still had bits of yesterday's lunch on it. Fun, right? But wait, because we haven't even talked about the medieval pharmacy, where the main ingredients were excrement, heavy metals, and things that today would probably be banned by the Geneva Convention. If you survived the bloodletting and the barber, you still had the final boss left, the apothecary. Forget strawberry-flavored pills. Medieval pharmacy was based on one very simple rule. The more disgusting the ingredient, the more it would scare the disease away, and the faster it would leave your body. There was an entire branch of medicine that was basically excrement therapy. I'm not joking. They used pigeon dung for migraines, boy's urine for wounds, and if you were really lucky, bear fat for baldness. Their logic was simple. Evil disease plus something disgusting equals cure. If your throat hurt, they might prescribe you some album graecum, which is just a fancy Latin way of saying dried dog poop. They'd grind it up, mix it with honey, and down the hatch. And if it didn't cure you, at least it would cure you forever of wanting to complain about a sore throat again. But the worst part was not how disgusting it was how toxic it was. Toward the end of the Middle Ages, for diseases like syphilis, the star remedy was mercury. They gave you mercury baths, rubbed you down with mercury, and made you inhale mercury vapors. The result? Your teeth fell out, your jaw rotted, and your kidneys stopped working. But hey, the doctors said that was a good sign, that the body was expelling the evil. If the patient died of poisoning, the doctor just shrugged and said, "He came in too late." And then, in 1347, she arrived, the Black Death. This was where medieval medicine officially threw in the towel. It was the final exam, and everybody flunked it. Since they didn't know that fleas on rats were the real culprits, they turned to miasma theory. They believed the disease traveled through rotten air or foul smells. And what was the doctor's solution? Walking the streets with flowers stuffed into their noses so they could smell something nice? This is where the great icon of medieval horror was born, the Plague Doctor. That guy in the bird mask who looks like he walked straight out of a Tim Burton nightmare. The beak was not there to look scary. It was a container filled with aromatic herbs, cinnamon, and flowers to filter the rotten air. The waxed leather suit, by sheer accident, did offer them a little protection from fleas, but they thought it was protecting them from evil spirits. And what was the remedy for the plague? Sitting between two giant fires to burn the air, or better yet, rubbing a live chicken against your swollen armpits until the chicken died. Spoiler, the chicken died, you died, and the doctor went home to bill your heirs. So the next time you have to go to the dentist and you're scared, remember that you live in the 21st century. Remember that your doctor is not going to taste your urine, he is not going to consult the stars before giving you Tylenol, and above all, he is not going to try to cure you with pigeon shit.